What's up, everybody? Was at the range the other day, and we were talking about reloading. In the competitive world, a lot of people reload 9mm because that's what we shoot. I was actually explaining to the guys that I don't reload 9, but I do reload. Now I reload rifle ammunition, and I'm not a caliber junkie, so I really only load for 3 different calibers, 223 or 5.56. 300 blackout, and then I load for my 30-06. Predominantly, most of everything that I load is 223 or 300 blackout. So they're the same case. The cartridge is the same. We just cut off the neck of the 223 and we neck it down with the dies for 300 blackout, and that's how 300 blackout was created. So this will go to both. If you are converting 223 to 300 blackout, you will see the same thing. So I was explaining to some of the guys about the primer crimp that is on the 5.56 casing. Now the primer crimp is there because it keeps the primer bedded in during just running around while you have ammunition in your kit, and also through the action of the rifle, just to ensure that you don't have any primers backing out. But it is a pain in the butt when it comes to reloading for the 223 cartridge. So you have to take it off in order to get more primers out. So not only during your sizing does it make it extremely hard sometimes to get the primers actually out, you will feel like you're about to break the decapping pin on a lot of stuff, and that's just normal. And once you actually get rid of that and then you start to reload your own cases, you won't have to deal with that anymore. So it's kind of a once and done. Now I pick up brass randomly, so range pickup, a lot of it's going to have it on there. So I have my setup to do the decrimping, and I do it no matter what. I run the piece of brass through my decrimping method. So I've got a really unique setup. When I set my loading bench up a long time ago, I didn't really know exactly what to buy, what I wanted to get into, and I was conquering issues as I went. So I was like being very wise at how I invested my money. So I came up with this method that cost me pretty much, like I've got a $13 Harbor Freight drill, and then the decapping unit that the decrimping unit that I'm using was like $19. I think it came with 2 different sizes. I could be wrong, and I don't even remember where I got it from. It's like super cheap. And then so I came up with the method to do this. So I'll show you, and we'll go over some of the stuff, and then I'll actually run through how I do my trimming and the decrimping of the 223 brass. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a piece of 223, so it's been sized and annealed, and I'm ready to trim it and get rid of this crimp ring. And you can see how there's a little crimp going all the way around it. So after the primer gets put in, they crimp the edge of the case going around the primer, and it just kind of folds the brass in, which is what creates a crimp. Now there's 2 different ones that you'll run into. There's this one that you can see is completely circular. It goes all the way around the primer. And then this one's going to be a little harder to tell because I've actually already done it, and I don't have a lot of these, but you can see there's 4 stake marks. So these don't end up the prettiest, because when you remove the priming crimp, you don't want to dig into the case too much. Once again, we don't want primers backing out, so we don't want to ruin the integrity of the primer pocket too much. So, but you can see that one right there. Like I said, it's kind of hard to get it to show up on the camera, but there's 4 little places where it was staked. Okay, so here's a better example of one that's actually already been done. And you can see how I've gotten rid of it. It's just got a nice smooth little bevel going all the way around, right? And it's gone. So that's what we're doing, and that's what we're dealing with. So this is the guy right here. This is the pain in the butt. Now it's a good thing to have, like I said. I mean, if you're running some green tips or any X-Tac, any kind of decent quality 5.56. Now when you buy 223, not all 223 is going to come in like this. Actually, I think most of it won't. So if you're into reloading, one of my buddies, he'll buy 223 because he don't have to deal with this, even though yet he's still like me and he picks up range pickup, so then he does have to deal with it. Okay, so another thing that you can see is on this one that's already done, how clean the primer pocket is. Okay, so the unit that I'm going to show you, not only does it get rid of the crimp ring, but you can see how nasty it is down there. Now, so I wet tumble, and wet tumble the stainless steel pins, they do a pretty good job of cleaning that, but it's good to go ahead and do it. So what we have here is little redneck ingenuity. Okay, this is my $13 drill that's literally screwed to the edge of my loading bench. Okay, and I have a zip tie. Once again, I mean, it's hard to get more hood than this. Okay, so that stays on there, and then I just plug it in, and when I plug it in, it's set to the speed and tempo that I want it to. So this actually works out really good. So this is the unit. Let me see if I can't get it to focus in. Okay, that's the unit. This is the guy that's doing everything. So I've got some stuff rigged up to get it in the chuck because it was threaded and I didn't want to ruin the threads. So this guy spins, and the top of it will clean the bottom of the primer pocket, while the blades on it will take the crimp off. I do that after I trim. So while we're here, we'll go ahead and talk about my trimming method. It's still the manual way. I don't have anything automated. Once again, this is reloading on a budget, or how when I started, that's what it was. And this method just worked out really, really well. It's a little tedious because I am using a single press, but I like the intimacy that you get with each round. It creates multiple layers of quality control. So what I'm using here is a Forester 3-in-1. So you can see this guy right here's got two little blades on it. So not only is it trimming, but deep down inside there, it's chamfering and deburring all in one motion. So it's just kind of taking out two steps. I think this thing right here is maybe, I don't know, 60 bucks, 70 bucks, something like that. Don't quote me to it. It's a pricey little trimming head, but man, is it worth it. And that's pretty much it. And you do that about 8 million more times, and your brass prep is probably halfway complete. I don't know if this is going to help anybody. I think most people that I know, once again, I only know really one other guy that loads for 223. I think I've got a couple of shooting buddies that actually load 223. This is a really cheap way to do it. It's not by no means the best way. It is just a very cost-effective and efficient way to do it, and it produces the same results. Now, you saw me in the video, I'm kind of joysticking the case around the trimmer. and you got to kind of, you might ruin one or two until you get the hang of it. But the idea is to not take too much off. So, you don't want the cant of the shell to be too steep to where you're really digging it out. And it doesn't take a lot to get rid of the crimp ring. And then you have a really good primer pocket that's going to last for a long time. So hopefully this will help somebody out there. If not, maybe you'll at least find it interesting, because this is how I do it. Once again, I mean, I've got, less of $40 set up in that. Now, Gavin at the Ultimate Reloader, he'd probably have nightmares if he saw my bench. But we don't all have it like you, brother. So enjoy it, reload, and get out there and shoot.